What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Smith Podcast. Today's Sunday. The hell? Oh, Sunday, the 28th of November. We're getting close to December. Let's see. We've got a couple guests coming in. We got my co host, Josh Casey's coming in. And then we're going to have Brian Bland coming in here from the Pork and Beans Podcast. Just getting everybody together right now. So, how's everybody doing? It's probably too late for coffee, but I've got, I just finished a bunch of coffee, but I'm sure you guys are drinking some coffee somewhere. What are you drinking? Let's see here. Josh is coming in right now. We got Brian Bland coming in soon. How's everybody doing? Terry Brown, how's it going? Good to see you. Jose Magina. I gotta figure out how to say your last name. What's up, Jose? Good to see you. What's everybody up to today? I gotta work tonight, so unfortunately, this is my last little bit of the weekend. Oracle's already shared my podcast. That's awesome. Oh, what's up, Oracles? What's going on? What is going on? I got a new studio coming up. New studio. I'm going to move everything around. Going into a different bedroom. Believe it or not, I'm actually out in my kitchen right now. It's the only way that we were making this work for a while, but I'm going into my spare bedroom pretty soon and turning that whole room into a studio, so it's going to be a lot different. I got to get all this stuff figured out here. I need my own space besides sitting it up out here in the kitchen. It was working for a while, but it's not working anymore. Okay. Oracles, we got Wes. How's it going, Wes? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see. Is there any music I can play for you guys while we're waiting on Josh? How do I do that? Let's go to... I'll just do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Ben Mala, he's awesome. If you guys don't know Ben Mala, he's a cool channel to watch. Gemma Jade. Make sure to check out Gemma Jade's channel. Let's see if you guys are saying anything. I got to go over it. Man, I need 2 screens. That'd be awesome to have 2 screens. I make coffee so much better. That's good to hear. It's good to hear. All right, let's see here. We need royalty. Don't need caps lock on. Royalty-free music. What do we got? Oh, geez, that's loud. Just chilling with Chad, yeah. Da 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 da. Now the question is, can I make this full screen? How's that look? Please welcome Chad Smith and Josh Casey to the podcast. We've got Brian Bland coming up today for a little impromptu, unplanned, completely unplanned podcast. We literally just pulled this together within the last 20 minutes. So, should be one of those good podcasts that goes down in history as one of the best. What's up, Mom? Good to see you. Sorry I didn't tell you I was doing this. I just figured it out 10, 15 minutes ago. Just hanging out, waiting for Josh Casey and Brian Bland from the Pork and Beans Podcast. Brian Bland specializes in Bigfoot sightings. Spooky, good to see you. Let's see. I'll drop this link down in here too. Brian's got it. Josh has it. I'm going to send it to Sonny. I haven't seen Sonny this morning. I keep saying morning. It's 2 o'clock here, but... You guys, you being fully entertained right now? Everyone having a good time? Come on, Josh. Come on, Josh. Where you at, buddy? He had like 10 minutes notice, so I don't blame him for not being here, but you're supposed to be as bored as I am. Everyone's supposed to be just as bored as I am on a Sunday. We got Spooky in the house. We got Sweetly Morbid in the house. Purpose and Grace is in the house. We got this is a big party already. We got 8 people in here. There's nothing going on, so that just shows you guys' commitment to the channel. Da, 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 da. Let's see who we got. But my new keyboard, or I'm using my new keyboard now. I was using one of those Apple keyboards, but it didn't have the keypad on the right-hand side. This one's way better. And it's USB chargeable. You just plug the keyboard in, it charges it up. Yep, big plans though, big plans. We got new podcast studio plans. This background looks cool, but I want it to take up the whole wall and look a little bit more professional. Terry, I'm not saying you should be committed to one of those padded rooms that's pink that has like nothing in it. I'm not talking about one of those. I'm not talking about that kind of committed. I just need you committed to the channel. I need you committed. Captain Keystone, what's up, dude? Just waiting on our guests to come in. They only had a couple minutes notice, so they are going to take a couple more minutes to get ready. I think we're going to do some Bigfoot learning today. Learn about some Bigfoots. What's up, Josh?
What's up? Sorry I'm a little late.
Oh, you're good. We're just sitting here bullshitting.
Anybody else on here with you?
Not yet. It's just you and me hanging out, listening to some coffee music. Can you hear that coming through on your side?
Yeah, I can.
Probably annoying, huh?
You sent Brian a friend request?
Yep. We're friends, and I sent him a message. He's going to send me some pictures that he wants to share on here.
Oh, yeah. Y'all try to get Sonny on here. Sonny's met Brian before. He's a pretty cool guy.
Sonny has a request. He is just not active and showing no signs of life, so I'm not sure where he's at.
He might be hungover. Hey, just a second. I got to run my room and grab something real quick.
No problem. I'll be here. Spooky's making French toast. Man, that sounds good. I haven't eaten yet today, Spooky, so you're going to make me real hungry if you keep throwing around words like that. French toast, pancakes, bacon, sausage, eggs with cheese in it.
Man, that was an awesome podcast yesterday, I gotta say. With Preston. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, I've been getting good feedback on that, mostly from family members, but good feedback is good feedback.
You got family members watching your podcast? I gotta eat my chair here.
Oh, yeah. My mom and stepdad watch it. My mom's sitting here right now, I think. Unless she got too bored and shut it off already. Oh my God, Sweetly Morbid wants to call you Pony Boy.
Who, me? What? Why?
I don't know. You got some fans on here.
I had some fans on my last podcast. That's why I changed my name.
Lynn LeBlanc, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We
have Brian Bland from Pork and Beans podcast. I was just on there a couple weeks ago.
Bacon.
He's had Preston Dennett, and he's had Barbara Jean Lindsay, who we just had not too long ago.
Oh, she was on there too? I'm going to have to listen to that one.
Yeah.
His intro is really cool that he opens his videos up with. He's got cool graphics on there.
Yeah, he just posted the video from my podcast like a week ago. I think he said just one up on YouTube. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. He's really into I mean, he's had orbs and UFO sightings, but he's mainly into the Bigfoot thing. Which once again, that's something I never in a million years thought I'd be into, man, or never in a million years thought I would believe was a possibility. You know,
Am I
but I
back?
never thought I'd believe. Do what?
Oh, okay. I turned my Wi-Fi off. That was crazy. I turned it off. Everything went black, and then I turned it on. It instantly came back on again. So sorry about that.
Men in Black fucking with you already.
Yep.
Dude, that was weird yesterday whenever my phone started glitching out. Everything started getting fuzzy and just faded out.
Yeah, that's happened before on the podcast. Spaced Out Radio's had it happen before.
Yeah, so
Jimmy Church has had it happen.
yeah, Jimmy Church had it happen while Chris was on there with him.
Oh,
Yeah, like
dude, I gotta listen to that one too. I didn't know Chris was on there.
He's been on a couple times now. You know, Faded Black. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Jimmy Church. Yeah, Jimmy Church Faded Black, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I bet he gave him a good interview.
Yeah, awesome interview.
That was so funny. I'm just so everyone knows, I contacted Josh about 20 minutes ago and was like, "Hey, I'm just bored. Probably gonna start the podcast up." Next thing you know, hey, I got a guest for us.
Spur of the moment. Yeah, the guest is coming on. I contacted him like 5 minutes ago.
Josh Casey, the talent agency.
Yeah, it's starting to move a little quick.
Yeah.
You guys, can you hear that back? I got some neighbors playing some music right now. Can you hear that? I might move to my bedroom.
I don't hear music, no.
Okay. If you start getting any like interference, let me know. I'll move to my bedroom.
Okay. I'm probably just gonna change this overlay real quick. While we're waiting.
I normally don't drink this early, but I decided it's Sunday and I'm just relaxing day, so I got a wicked apple ale and
nice.
A couple beefy 5-layer burritos earlier. Probably a horrible combination, but it felt good in the moment. So
it felt good in the moment.
I don't regret it. I might regret it later, but not right now.
Julie, what's up, Julie? Thanks for hanging out. Got 7 people in here without any notice. I gave you guys 20 minutes notice. It's awesome.
Oh,
just chilling, hanging out. This is a very casual, just so everyone knows, this is going to be a very casual podcast. We were thinking about not even going live with it, but screw it.
Yeah. Last minute for everybody.
It's Sunday.
And Brian, the guy who's jumping in, it's extremely last minute for him. I literally just messaged him and was like, "Can you jump on a stream real quick?" He's like, "When? Like right now?" It's like, "Oh shit!"
Pretty instantaneously, like right now.
I didn't expect them to agree at all, but it's pretty cool that he did. That guy, the Anunnaki guy, whose videos I sent you yesterday. I don't want to say his name right now, but man, if I get him on, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to get him on. Yeah, I'm excited about that, man.
That's really cool.
You watched all those videos, like the ones that were on History Channel and the news and everything?
I kept getting like halfway through them, and then I got distracted. So I've seen like half of both of them.
That was awesome. Some of those orb videos that he had were just mind blowing. They got on national news, man. Blew my mind. History Channel like that.
Yeah, that one that you sent me, the orange or red one. That's the one that I was like, okay, I've seen that before. I've never.
Did you see the one where it was like one came down, like split into 3, and then those 3 like split into more? Dude, that
made like a triangle pattern too.
Yes, that was just mind-boggling, man.
Oh man, I feel like I'm still full from Thanksgiving dinner. Dear God, this was the best dinner that I've had in years, a couple years. So the food was just on point. Everybody's food was good. Except my green bean casserole. I was supposed to make green bean casserole and didn't think to go to the store until they were all closed. So just made it real quick with some basic ingredients.
So did you listen to that whole I mean, it's only like 10-minute podcast with Grant Cameron and Chris about flying the ship?
Yeah. Very cool.
It's wild. I can't believe I just found out about that. I mean, people who are like brand new into this, they're gonna hear stuff like that and be like, "Oh, that's bullshit." Of course, he flew a craft, But the thing is, man, the shit he was describing on that interview is exactly what other people who described about flying this craft, man. As far as like it kind of link it to your neural network and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
the craft organic and the honeycomb structure, all everything lined up perfect.
Yeah, so it seemed like he was pretty legit.
Yeah, and just Grant Cameron. On top of that, yeah, I said yesterday I thought it was Grant Cameron, but I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, I went back on Spotify today. It was Grant Cameron that interviewed them. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, Grant Cameron's the man.
Yeah, definitely.
Is everybody okay?
My roommate's back there, or my cousin. He's not my roommate yet, but he's about to be moving in. I think he's back there smoking some weed or something, to be honest.
Oh, that happens. That happens. Hey, we got Brian backstage. Hey, Brian, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. I got my fuzz background that I do on Zoom, so to make my bed.
Yeah, you're all good. I was just telling Josh and everybody in the chat room this is extremely casual podcast today because we just planned it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, last minute.
Like I was, yeah.
Preston Dennett was on yesterday, Brian. It's a pretty good podcast.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, we had him on our show one time.
Yeah, you had Preston and Barbara on your show.
Barbara on 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I love Barbara. I was just talking to Barbara a couple days ago, or no, I was talking to her last night actually about Michael Lee Hill. Do you know him?
Well, we were talking about him on the show. Remember? No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, that's how I was going to ask. Is that the same Anunnaki guy that you were? Oh, you said you don't know him, or you do?
I don't know him. I've heard the name. I guess Michael knows him. Mr. Beans knows him.
Okay. Yeah, he was cool. I had a great time talking with him. Yeah, I had no idea that he's got videos that have been like on like national news or U.S. news, and actually on the History Channel they had a little segment with him. But some of those orb videos that I saw from him, God, they're mind blowing. There's one where I don't know, Chad, was it one orb that came down and it split into 3 orbs, and then that orb split into more orbs? I mean, that was just mind-boggling, really.
Yeah, it was basically one orb came down and then split into 3 and made like a triangle configuration, and then those split up.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
I've heard people say, I haven't experienced this myself. I mean, I've seen, I deal with Sasquatch a lot. I've seen Sasquatch. I've seen them in their shape-shifted form, like in animals. I've even seen, believe it or not, I mean, I just tell what I know, right? So bizarre as it sounds, I've even seen them as people, and I could get into that and why I know for sure, but whatever. But I've actually seen people say that they've seen orbs change into Sasquatch.
Yeah, you showed me that one picture.
That's one of the ways that they travel.
He showed me that picture, with all the orbs, and I think he said right before that he saw Sasquatch go into the woods, and me and Chad were just talking. It's like the more I get into this, the more things I used to think were fantasy, or they seem more possible. Like at first it was just UFOs, and then it was paranormal, and then psychics, and then Bigfoot, and it's just like my mind is just open to everything now. I try to stay a little skeptical, but everything that I thought used to be complete fake, now I'm open-minded because I never in a million years thought I'd believe in UFOs for one. And then, just it's a rabbit hole. It just keeps on going. And I know Sonny, I don't know if Sonny's going to get on here or not, but me and him saw some of your pictures. Do you want to, just give like a quick overview of your channel real quick? What you're doing there. I know you have to
let me just grab my, I want to put these on my rocks here.
Brian, I got all your pictures too. I'm just naming them all so I can organize them better.
Yeah, we can bring them up. Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of quick notice, obviously.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I could have put a much better picture thing together, more story related. But I can, I can talk about some of the pictures. So, what was your question again, Josh?
Just a quick overview of like your channel, and what you. I know you
Oh,
let me know the
the
Sasquatch.
Facebook and the YouTube channel, both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well we've got a show that that Mike Harold and I put on. What we call it pork and beans, because we're incognito on the show. Kind of, like we just like to have fun, but it's serious subject matter. But you can't take things too seriously. Sasquatch, and I think any higher vibrational being likes a sense of humor or whatever too. So we call it the Pork and Bean Show, and I'm Pork Cunningham, and Michael is Frank Oliver Beans, and it's basically a Sasquatch show. But like we had you on last week, and we didn't talk much about Sasquatch, but it's all it's all kind of connected in anyway. The same kind of stuff happens, like the time thing that you had with the Anunnaki and whatever that you were talking about on the show. Sasquatch, I've experienced that countless times with Sasquatch, the same kind of thing. Time's not linear for them, so that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, we have the Pork and Beans Show on Facebook, and it's a public group. Anybody can join. So,
I had a great time on your podcast last week, and the Anunnaki thing. I mentioned that really briefly yesterday to Preston, but I didn't get really deep into it. I don't think I've gotten as detailed on anything that I've been on so far as what I did with your channel last week. I just thought it sounded too ridiculous at first, but the more that I get into this, the more I find out things I used to think were ridiculous, are completely plausible now.
Well, the stuff where most people leave off and they think is ridiculous, that's where all the real true learning and the growth and the spiritual and the all that stuff happens. If you don't get outside of your box, you're not going to learn anything about any of this stuff. So to answer the second part of your question, I've got a YouTube channel too, and I finally uploaded our video.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Finally got it up. I tried like 25 times or something. But yeah, so, and that's the Sasquatch BC, the true story, / Pork and Bean Show. So yeah, and I've got like over 300 videos on there. I don't make any money off it. I just like to share, the truth
Share
about
the information. Yeah,
share the information. Yeah, one of the reasons I don't make any money off it is because I put like old music and stuff on there that's copyrighted.
yeah, I've already figured that out.
It's more important to me to put on a good production and listen to my music and stuff with the story, and then make a few pennies off it. So.
Right. Yeah, I've already figured that out. One of my first podcasts, I wanted to have some coffee music, like coffee shop music playing in the background while me and Sonny were talking. So I threw up some like just general coffee shop sound effects from YouTube, and like the next day it was copyright flagged.
Really?
Whoa, okay, what's this all about? I'm starting to learn about copyright now.
Yeah, they get you quick.
Well, I mean, I don't see any reason why people can't make $1 off of like talking about what they know or whatever. But I just kind of a long time ago decided, like the Sasquatch are giving me so much that I don't really have to profit off of it at the same time too, right? It's not that I need the monies, and like I said, I like putting my old music on there, like the Moody Blues and the Kinks and some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, Brian, real quick, the intro. I haven't watched the full interview that I had with you last week, but I watched about half of it. Man, that intro, man, that was awesome. You put some effort into that. I loved it. It was funny too, man. I can't remember what part it was, but there was something on there that had me cracking up on the intro.
Dr. Evil and Mini-Me.
What's that? Oh,
Dr.
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Mini-Me. Chad, if you haven't checked that out, man.
Well, that's Frank and me, but you can leave it up to your imagination which one is which.
yeah, I kind of thought that. Yeah, that had me cracking up. Yeah.
But you want to hear something? You want to hear something wild? I had so much trouble trying to upload that video that I just completely redid my computer over again. From factory specs. So I had to. I've got the video up now, but I had to actually go and do the entire intro and the ending and all that stuff again. I had to redo it.
God, it's so weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been having some weird issues with my computer here lately, or my phone and internet, my email. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, sometimes it's right in the middle of a good conversation when we're talking about government conspiracies. All of a sudden, the internet gets real crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know
You
what a
happen to be
conspiracy
heard of
theorist
something?
is? Critical thinker.
What was that, Brian? I didn't hear the
I
first
said
part.
my definition of a conspiracy theorist is a critical thinker.
Critical thinker.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree with that.
You know, like, I mean, I'm not saying like I don't buy, you know, stuff like I heard, you know, like Stephen King killed John Lennon. I don't believe that kind of crap. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some guy who wrote a book on it, you know, but I mean, you know, but you know, when you see what's going on in the world today, I mean, that's not a conspiracy theorist. That's just common sense, you know, like,
yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
That's the first I've heard of that one. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Stephen King, huh?
Stephen King killed John Lennon. That's a first on your broadcast here.
Yep,
No,
I'm gonna have to
I
add
don't
that to
believe
the
it, of
list.
course.
Yeah, that's something else. I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Hey guys, real quick before we get started with all this, I need to go run to the bathroom real quick. I'm gonna cut my camera off and I'll be right back.
You're all right, man.
Yeah.
This is very like I was telling him, very low key today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
just
yeah, I'm
hanging
not
out
really
talking.
prepared, but then again, I've got everything on my computer up here, you know, like all my experiences, whatever. Although you know, I don't want to make it sound like, well, let me put it this way: I've had so many experiences that some of the ones I've got to try to actually sit down and think about. I got to bring some of these other ones to recall again because just some amazing stuff, you know. But I got to remember some of the ones that I haven't talked about for a while.
So for the ones that are watching that have never had an experience, actually, I've never had any type of paranormal experience. I'm just here along for the ride so far. But for people that are listening, do you think there's people that are more tuned in to the frequency and they're able to see things that other people aren't? Or do you think that everyone has the ability?
In the case of the Sasquatch and probably some of the Star Nations beings or whatever, I think there's some kind of connection there, you know, already.
Yeah.
That was there before we even realized it. You know, some people would say maybe a past life thing or whatever, or you're just, it's supposed to be, and then it's their time to open up to you and introduce themselves. I'm getting, by the way, when I speak truth and whatever about the Sasquatch and stuff like that, I get lit up with this, like this energy.
Oh,
and I'm
cool.
just getting like blasted with this energy.
Awesome.
But I also think, you know, it's a high vibrational thing because they're on a higher vibration. So they have a hard time connecting with us when we're talking about like, woe's me and, you know, like negative stuff and I hate you and judgment and all that stuff. When you're singing and laughing and talking about spiritual things or whatever, you know, that's when they'll connect with you because, for one thing, that's what they like. And the other thing is that you're closer, you know, you're getting closer to their spiritual level. I mean, not spiritual, their vibrational level.
Right. It's like the frequencies are lining up.
Yeah.
Well, that totally makes sense. There's probably people that just have never thought about that before and their frequencies are so far off that.
Yeah. Like for instance, I hosted a camp out. I host a camp out every year and get a bunch of people come in, but they're all like experiencers and really respectful people. Like I don't consider myself to be a Bigfoot, or I actually don't even say Bigfoot, Sasquatch investigator or hunter. Definitely not. Just an experiencer, and so like, you know, like our last one, we're all sitting around, and of course you know, the conversation tends to go to some of the negative stuff in the world today because we're all being affected by it. Although, if you don't have any fear, it's amazing how little it can affect you. That's another thing. But and it really is possible. But you know, we were talking about some of the stuff and whatever, like you know, the negative stuff, and you know, nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden we started talking about the Sasquatch connection, spiritual stuff. then they actually came in. We could actually feel them coming in or whatever. And they actually gave a lady a healing right there where we were watching. It was amazing. She was actually almost getting ready to go home. Her back, I think it was her back, was bothering her so much. She hadn't said anything, but she was considering it. And she really wanted to be there. And then all of a sudden, she said it was like she felt like a scan on her body or whatever, and all this energy going through. And I felt the same thing. So I know exactly what she was talking about, but it was dramatic. We witnessed it.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about this question that Julie Farrell has down there. Sorry about us. About the white-haired Sasquatch. It says, do people, excuse me, do people see the white-haired Sasquatch often? The one that I saw as a child was white-haired, tan face. And I've heard somebody else mention a white-haired Sasquatch here, like in the past couple of weeks.
Well, they're basically human, with the male part. I guess if you want to look at the scientific part behind it, which I don't really care about, but I'm only interested in the teaching and that kind of thing. But the DNA says that the female mitochondrial is human, and then the male is unknown. So they can have like hair, different colors of hair, like people, like red, brown, tan, black, white. And as a matter of fact, my clan leader, Ari, you've heard his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got white hair. He's got white hair. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was funny because one of the last campouts I had, not this one that came up, but one of the last ones, he actually walked right to camp. There was just some kid who had never had an experience before, just a young guy. And this is kind of how it works, right? Because if they want to connect with somebody and they know that that person has got a moderate interest or whatever, they got to hit. They got to hit you up, right? So Ari actually walked right through the camp and he's seen him.
Really?
Yeah. And then we came back and then he was questioning me, do you know a white Sasquatch? And I said, yeah. He's got a great big huge head. Yeah. Is he like 12 feet tall? Yeah. And it was perfect because it was all set up because I could verify everything that he said. That's how it kind of works. So but he's seen him walk right through the camp, and it was needless to say, he was quite impressed.
Tyrone was just asking, this is the first time I've seen him in here, but Tyrone was just asking, what's the difference between a Bigfoot and a gorilla? Is a Bigfoot like a gorilla, but always walking straight, like upright?
No, they're not. You ever seen the cartoon Magilla Gorilla? You guys are way too young.
Oh, I remember the big purple gorilla. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, these are not monkeys. These are not apes running around in the woods. These are like interdimensional beings. They are way more advanced than we are. They are like. That's why you can't get pictures of them unless they really want you to. That's why they're not seen and stuff because they're way more evolved than us. No, they're not an ape in any way.
Yeah. I told you on our podcast that I never considered Sasquatch a possibility until a few people actually told me the same thing, that it was more of like an interdimensional a couple of those people even said like a spiritual or interdimensional type nature guardian type being. And whenever I heard that, it made me think to myself, I've seen orbs literally materialize from nothing and just pop up out of thin air. So that's a lot more logical to me. It makes a lot more sense that would be the case. And I hear some of these people's stories, and rather than just being just straight up animals that's out there, pretty much, it makes more sense to me that it would be something interdimensional or something that could just phase in and out of this reality. Is what I'm trying to say. That and then seeing some of the evidence, because I started digging into it, and there's some really compelling evidence, even though some people might think it's crazy at first glance. If you really dig into it, there's really compelling evidence about Sasquatch being real. And yeah, you've got some really compelling evidence, to be honest. Me and Sonny talked with you for a couple hours, and you showed us some photos and things that kind of had me really scratching my head.
Yeah. But and that's why the photos are so important. But like a lot of the energy stuff and like the healing and the downloads and all that stuff that I talk about, no question for me. But it's, you know, how do you prove that? It's like, how do you prove love, right? That's you know what I mean? We know it exists, but how do you prove it? But you know, like what I told you when you were on our podcast, like I don't care what people, I don't care if people believe me or not. I mean, I represent the Sasquatch. I've been actually told that with MindSpeak. Getting energy again, man. Just, oh, jeez, just. But
That's awesome.
but you know, if you represent something like that, and you're like a spokesman or something, and you know, I'm just like a vessel. I'm nobody special. You know, it's on them. It's like when you do healing or whatever. You're not really it's the spirits and whatever that are actually doing it. You're just the vessel. So you have to give them credit. But if you're going to talk about something, this is what I told you too, and I'm proud of you because you're kind of seeing that now. You don't like, well, I got a reputation, so I don't want to say this, and this might not fit in here, whatever.
Great.
Can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
That noise, man. If you're going to talk about something and be legitimate about it, you got to say it as it is, right? And I never exaggerate because I respect them too much. So I'm just gonna, you know, I don't care. I mean, I like people to learn and I like to share, and I enjoy it when I can reach out and it affects people and it hits home to people. But I don't really care if you believe it or not, because my responsibility is to be honest about it. So I don't have any reputation that I'm going to lose or anything, or I'm not a university professor who's going to, you know, like be shunned and shamed and all that stuff. So I'll just tell it as it is. And I think you're going to be like that too, Josh, or you're already starting to be.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's how I feel about which I'm just trying to learn now. But I think about the way I was a year ago, and most of the stuff that I know is true now, not just believe is true, but you know, the fact that I know this stuff is real. I've seen some of it with my own eyes. I don't care about people's opinions about it because it's not going to change reality. It's not going to change, you know, things I've seen and the witnesses that I've had seen some of these things with me, and some of these same witnesses that I've had see certain things with me. You know, they told me they've had Sasquatch experiences as well. You know, so that's what really got me interested in it. And even though I'm talking about when I talk about like my skeptical view, that's a pretense thing. As far as the way that I used to look at the whole Sasquatch thing, I used to think it was silly. Now I believe it. I don't just believe it's possible. I believe it's more than likely. Well, I mean, I'm not even gonna say more than likely. I definitely believe it's real. I've seen evidence, you know, from people that I know aren't making up. You know, like as far as some of the things that you showed me, Chris Bledsoe has had a Sasquatch experience. A lot of people don't know about that. He's told me a couple of things. Yeah, I'm trying to learn. You know, I'm trying to figure out more about this, and you know, get other people to put their skepticism to the side, because yeah, like I think we all just need to open up our mind to all this stuff. You know, who 3 years ago would have thought that the White House right now would have a department just for studying UFOs? So like when I think that, it makes me think, you know, people used to think Sasquatch was silly. Who's to say in another few years, you know, that's not going to be just a widely accepted, you know, phenomenon, or not, you know, a reality, not just phenomenon, but it's not accepted by everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the Sasquatch that I connect with, I'm sure a lot of them are like this. I mean, I think some of the interaction is dependent on how you interact with them. Some people might perceive interaction as negative, but then their approach to it is negative, as far as like in the Sasquatch attitude, right? So I look at them as spiritual teachers, and like you get a connection with Sasquatch, man, and they connect with you and they start teaching you whatever. Your life is like changed for the better. Like, wow.
And you said you've been given like downloads of kind of love, like, right, positive emotions. I remember
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like life changing, like universal knowing kind of things. Like I got hit up with this thing called the Love Zap one time. Did you want to hear about that?
Yeah,
that sounds interesting.
Okay, but first of all, I just wanted to tell you, Josh, look, when you were talking about your Anunnaki experience,
Yes.
I knew, like, for one thing, you can tell somebody's telling the truth or whatever, but there was so much stuff that was very much like I've experienced or whatever, like the time thing, just different things that I just knew it was truthful, right? It was legitimate, and it was just so awesome, huh? What an experience.
Yeah, Barbara just said pretty much the same thing to me. Barbara Jean Lindsay. For people who are listening, I was going over it again with her recently, and she felt compelled to get me connected with somebody else, and that's the Michael Lee Hill guy, which I really hope to talk to him here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was glad to get on the channel, by the way. That was the first time that I mentioned this to Chad and Sonny once about the Anunnaki thing, but it was on your channel that I really got that out, and I feel like I was a little on the fence about it myself, just because it was such a bizarre story. But like, it was me speaking out loud about it, like to Barbara and to you on your channel. Whenever I sat back and I really looked at all the things and all the coincidences and not even coincidences, synchronicities, things that you just can't explain. Like, for example, the person I told you contact me back with a tattoo on their arm that matched my tattoo, and just maybe we can go into that later. It's just too many coincidences, for me to be just a mere coincidence, pretty much.
No, I recognize it as 100% authentic, because like when your vibration raises or whatever, and you become more in tune to stuff, you realize that there really isn't much coincidence, and just things just seem to be for a reason. So as far as this this Love Zap thing, it was really a dramatic, really life-changing time for me. About a week before that, I smelt the perfume, floral perfume scent of one of the female Sasquatches, one that was connecting with me, one of the ones that was most connected. I'm connected to an entire family, but she was kind of the most interested at the time. And I smelt her floral perfume, and it was really, really pleasant. Like, like people say that they have a bad odor or whatever. Well, sometimes some of the males do, but I think in my case, the only time I smelt it was for them to just let me know we're here. It's almost like something that they can put off, I think, if they want, But anyway, so I smelt this floral fragrance, and it was so strong that my eyes started burning, and my nose and my throat, it was just like intense. And I asked my First Nations friend, who was one of my mentors early on, if it was good, and he said, yeah, it was very good. And I guess that was a very significant connection step between myself and her. Let me get a glass of water.
Yeah, you're all set, man. Sounds like Tyrone's going out soon in February. He's going to go out looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
So anyway,
yeah.
Well, I can give some suggestions to people if they want to connect with them, but so just give me a second, because I'm getting
Yeah, he said he's kind of scared to go out there and look for him, but he said he's going to go out there with feeling peaceful, and hopefully he feels the same way. Sweetly Morbid was telling him to take a paper bag out with some tobacco and some sweets, maybe wrap sweets in a bag. Say it's for the Bigfoot wise ones, and they'll either take it or take the energy from it.
Just go out there and sit, man, and just don't have an agenda. Just have an open heart, and just say, hey, I'm Brian, or what was the guy's name?
His name is Tyrone. I'm
Tyrone, and I am open to meeting you. Just be respectful, like you would, like don't go tromping around. Like it's kind of like going tromping around through somebody's house or whatever, without being invited. Be respectful, introduce yourself, just say I'm open to meeting you. And then there's other kinds of things you can do too, but get into that in a bit.
Do you recommend people? Sorry, Brian. Do you recommend people stay on the path, like stay on the trail, or should you like walk off the path a little bit and maybe hang out on a log or something? Or should you just stay on the trail?
I guess it depends on what kind of predators or whatever are around. But a little bit off It doesn't really matter, just as long as
Okay.
you're by yourself, right?
Right. Okay.
It's more your intention. It's more your
So
intention.
it's more about the intention than more of like the physical location of where you're.
Yeah. I
Where you're
mean,
hanging out. Okay.
they've, I mean, I'm going to get weird again, but they've actually come to my house, left stick writing and stuff, which is called glyphs. We'll look at some of those pictures.
Yeah. Those are
One
cool.
actually appeared right in my room out of a cloud of smoke.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
okay, so it's not necessarily out in the middle of absolute nowhere where nobody's ever been before and anything like that.
No. Like my wife lives in Linden, Washington, and she's got a little forested area that's a little reserve by her place, and it's not that big a place. And she finds their stick writing and their little structures and stuff there all the time, and they're actually, doing some communication with her there, in some ways. So no,
Yeah,
they can pretty much be anywhere because they're energy beings. They can just think, and there they are, right? I mean, that's how the guy appeared in my room.
Yeah, Preston Dennett was just on here talking with us, or it might have been on the UFO Garage, but he was saying that Sasquatch have actually been seen around UFO sightings, and there have actually been reported cases where they've been seen inside of the UFOs. As crazy as that sounds, but I mean, it's fascinating to me, and the glyphs. That's one thing that I'm really interested in, and also I remember you telling me about you leaving gifts for them. I guess like where you leave something out for them, and they I can't remember all the details. Would you mind explaining that if you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and we'll get into the love zap a little later then.
Oh yeah, finish the love zap. Sorry about that.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Which one do you want to do first?
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
Go ahead and do the love zap thing first, yeah, because we started.
It's not stupid. I know it sounds like a stupid name. So anyway, like I said, so I had some kind of connection facilitated when with that perfume, and about a week later, I'm walking back down the trail, and I'm almost at my car. All of a sudden, I heard rustling in the brush. I didn't see her, but I just knew it was Raj. I just had that knowing. There's a lot of stuff that's just like you get a knowing. You just know. That kind of hard to explain. Do you know what I mean, Joshua? Do you have that kind of stuff happen?
Yeah.
Where there's no explanation for it, but there's just a solid knowing, and it's more. It's more solid than if somebody, like something physical. It's just an absolute knowing. So anyway, I heard this rustling in the bush, and I knew it was her. And all of a sudden, I felt this energy. And where'd he go?
I think he said he'll be right back. I think that's what he said.
He doesn't like my story, I guess.
Yep. Call me back when he's done with the story. No, sometimes he has some internet issues over there.
So I felt this energy, and it was like, and it was all of a sudden, it was like a download of information. It was like this universal knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the core to their teaching or whatever. It was like a big part of what they teach. It was a universal knowing, and it was like I felt connected to everything. I felt like I was all one with everything. I knew I was an eternal being. I didn't judge anything. It was like, even my worst enemy or whatever, it didn't matter. It was just like I was just connected to everything.
Yeah.
And I was weeping. It was so emotional, like for about a half an hour, just like it was powerful, and I'm not even saying it properly. Anyway, it's just like a universal knowing of connection that we're eternal beings, and no judgment, love, that kind of thing.
That's cool. And that was just coming over you all at the same time, and it's just like an emotional
experience. It just like hit me.
That's really cool.
Bam.
Josh is that's what Josh is doing. Bam. He's in and out. I think he's having some internet issues.
Yeah, that's basically it. But there, I'm not explaining it as well. I've actually got a video of it on my page, on my YouTube channel. I'm not trying to promote it or anything, but anyway, that was the basic gist of it. It was just like an absolute, like the Sasquatch teaching is that we're all one and all connected. And when you're vibrating on that high vibration where they are or whatever, and I've been there, you slip back and forth because we're human, right? But definitely my floor is definitely higher than it used to be. But when you're on that vibration, you just know there's a knowing of all one and all connected. Your perceived worst enemy, you don't judge any more than people you love the most. It's just a big, loving connection kind of thing. So there's no judgment, and there's also no fear there. Oh, that's the other thing too. There's no fear when you feel that, because as an eternal being, what do you really have to fear?
Right.
That's why, I can cope quite well with a lot of the things that are going on today, because, a lot of the stuff that's going on today is about fear, controlling, manipulating with fear, like it's been, in human history for centuries and forever and whatever. So when you don't have any fear, what can they really do to you?
Right. Yeah, and if you take the fear out of the equation, you can see them for what they truly are, instead of what everyone in I don't want to say the media, but I guess everyone online makes you, well, I don't know. The people that make it into a fear-based thing and don't really talk about the positives about it and the benefits that you get from interacting with them.
Yeah, like my wife is, and talking about that, I didn't really explain that Love Zap thing that great, but that's the basics of it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I thought it was more of like a physical thing, but it makes sense now when you explain it. It's more of just an emotional, like, understanding.
Well, it was like a huge download of universe. And when I first felt it, I said, "This is a universal knowing." That's what it came to my head. This is universal knowing. This is what it's all about. And that's basically when I talk about stuff. That's the whole core of it. Like nothing else is really important. Well, I wouldn't say not important, but that's the whole crux of the biscuit, is that connection. And that we're connected and not divided. Like what are people trying to do to us these days? And every avenue, every way, like trying to divide us and make us think that we're not,
Right.
one.
Do you ever get the message from them that they want you to keep spreading that information out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing the show, and that's why I'm talking to you, and that's
that's
I'm
cool.
Writing a book if I ever finish it, because they kind of guide you in your writing and whatever too.
Yeah, just like this podcast this morning. Like I had zero plan for this. Josh had zero plan for this, and I was just sitting around. I could have just I work midnights, so I could have just laid down and slept for the rest of the day. But something was telling me, hey, you need to fire up the podcast. You need to get a conversation going. And here it is, just born out of nothing.
So, like I said, sometimes that fear thing, because I have my wife lives in the States, and like, we don't know if we're ever going to be able to get together, because, now they got that vaccine mandate bullshit.
Yeah, right.
And we're not going to get it. I've got no fear. I mean, I'll choose death over it. I'm not scared of them, and I'm not going to give in to tyranny. So we may not be together. It's just a fact. We just may not, we're married, but we might not live together. So, sometimes that can bring you down, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
And, that's the only thing that I don't have any fear, but that is the one thing that kind of, gets on me sometimes. So sometimes my vibration isn't all that high, because it's just like, I want to be with my wife, right? And so I buy back into those lower vibrational thoughts of fear and talking about stuff and all that thing. But one particular night, I was, not feeling like myself or whatever. So I just went into the woods after dark, and I went in there and I just said, "Hey guys, I'm not myself. I need help. Can you take this fear away?" And literally, it was just like a light switch went on, man. Instantly, and it was gone, and my vibration went up again. I mean, that's how powerful these beings are. You know, that's how
awesome.
rewarding it can be if you have a connection with them, because they're very loving. They're not I mean, they're human. They're human. So I mean, I'm sure that some of them are not all like that, and there may be some that, and I'm sure there's some that don't like people.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that teach you and connect with you in that way, that's what they're like.
Seems to be a trend. That's the way that Preston Dennett explained ETs also.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is you know, like some of these guys who are going out hunting them or whatever, and like
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They come on these podcasts, and you know, I mean, this is their experience, so I'm not gonna discredit it, but they're saying, the Sasquatch was trying to kill me, he was chasing me, and he was you know, I just escaped with my life, and blah blah blah. And we've all heard that, right?
mm-hmm.
We've all heard those stories. Well, guess what? If the Sasquatch wanted to kill you, you're dead.
It would, yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they can be right beside you, cloaked, and I've had a lot of experiences with that, like where they have been. That's a fact. They can be right beside you, cloaked, you know, and you'll never know they're there. So if they wanted to kill you,
You'd be gone.
You would be gone.
I like what Sweetly Morbid
Me
said.
and Chad
right
were.
She says that Brian's Bigfoot friend asked me to do the show today.
What's that?
She said that the Spontaneous podcast was born because your Bigfoot friend asked me to do the show today without me even doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe in coincidence. Like you know, like that might sound like it's Fruit Loops to some people, but yeah, she's right.
Yep.
You're right. I don't believe in coincidences at all anymore. Maybe like the minor coincidences.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk. I don't know. I mean, they can have 2 or 3 people in on the same thing. They'll be influencing somebody that you may know, but or not even know at the time. They could be working with 3 different people to bring them together into an experience. That's happened to me before. And then, you know, when you meet, you find out what, like it was all orchestrated.
Yeah, I love that.
I had that happen. I had that happen recently, and I won't get into that story, but because too many stories. But it's a fact, you know, like just wild stuff where they can, you know, and it's just. And then you all kind of meet in a restaurant or whatever, and you start talking, and you find out, wait a minute, this was all orchestrated. You know?
Right.
Yeah. What are the odds of it happening? It seems like winning the lottery. Yeah, exactly. It's just like whenever I was telling you my Anunnaki story, at first I thought it was kind of ridiculous. And then the more I just like sat back and looked at it, I thought, you know, what are the chances of all these things happening? And if we have time later on, because I explained it really fully on your podcast, Brian, but I briefly just went over it on Chad's podcast. But I mean, I want this to be more about you right now, to be honest. But yeah, exactly what you said. Whenever you get coincidences, and it's like the more coincidences stack on top of each other, that's when you got to really look back at it and say, you know, this is probably not a coincidence at all. It's probably something, you know, more planned and orchestrated than we could ever imagine.
Yeah, I'll quickly tell you, you guys call it Cliff Notes or Cole's Notes when you do a real abbreviated version of something. Is it Cliff Notes?
Yeah, Cliff Notes. Yep.
I'll do in Canada, I guess it's called Cole's Notes. I don't know why.
Oh.
But anyway, I'll give you just the basic Cliff Notes kind of thing. But and I've actually got some pictures. I didn't put it up on these ones. But a friend of mine and myself were in the woods, and he's actually a mushroom enthusiast. Not the magic one so much, but just he's like in mushroom clubs or whatever, and takes pictures of them, and then they talk about it, you know, whatever.
It's a very interesting subject.
I don't know what the fascination is, but yeah, I was out there looking at Sasquatch glyphs and structures and footprints, and he's running around looking for a mushroom. But anyway, so this is how these 3 people kind of got coordinated. So he's looking for mushrooms or whatever. So he took a picture of a certain mushroom. And I remember I saw they were on a stick or something, on a snap piece of wood, and he thought it was weird that it was just out of place, which, you know, it was placed there. It was weird. And he took a picture of it. And this is part of the story. So, and I saw him take a picture of it. I remember that. So anyway, and when we were also looking around, he found a great big long spike. Okay. Great big long spike for like some kind of, I don't know what it would be used for. But this guy has got his nose to the grindstone looking for mushrooms. And we had just walked past there just seconds before. And he swore up and down that spike was not there, which makes sense because that's the Sasquatch will do stuff like that. And as the story unfolded, that was exactly what happened. So in a couple of minutes where we walked away and then came back, they placed it there where we just walked. So we got back to the restaurant. We see this other guy I'd only met one time. And we were telling him this, some stuff about the, you know, the Sasquatch stuff and whatever, and how weird it was and whatever. And I can't remember exactly what was all weird up to that point. But we're telling him about it, and I said, hey, show him that spike. This guy, right? I'd never met him before. I think I've seen him once before, talked to him like briefly. So I said, I said to my friend, show the guy the spike. So he pulls the spike out and I hand it to him. And the guy says, what the fuck? I was just on my way to the store to buy those exact things. Okay. He was on his way to the store to buy the exact thing that we were showing him. And like he was right, like, okay, this is weird. Even he knew something was going on. I don't even know if he believes in Sasquatch, but so they had this guy part of it, right? This is what I'm saying. They have 2 or 3 people all involved, and they bring him to a point where what's going on is, you know, is revealed. So he was going to pick up the exact spike that we showed him, and he was like freaked out. So then I said,
synchronicity.
I
said synchronicity.
So I said, show him the picture of the mushroom that you took a picture of. Because, oh yeah, that was one of the weird things that we wanted to tell him about, that looked out of place, that it looked like it was placed there and it shouldn't have been there. And it was like, it was very random where it was. And it was a snap piece of wood with some mushrooms on it. And this guy just happened to be looking for mushrooms. So once again, he would have noticed it, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? No coincidence.
It makes me think a little bit about Sonny. Remember when Sonny was talking about us or talking to us in a private chat about the, what was it, the arrowhead, Chad? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
The arrowhead that was,
yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, but there's way more to the story. So because that was one of the weird things that we were talking about to tell this guy of our experiences, you know, I said, hey, show this guy the picture on your phone. He took a whole whack of pictures that day, right? So he's looking through his phone and he said, what the fuck, man? That picture was gone.
Really?
That picture was removed from his phone. Every other picture, I've had this happen quite a few times myself. So I knew exactly what was going on. I was asking him to show this other guy who was going to get the spikes, the picture of the mushrooms with a stick. It was gone. Removed from the camera. Every other picture was on there.
Man.
And so later on in the day, I'm giving this guy a ride to the liquor store or something. There's always a joke in a ride to the liquor store, but whatever.
On the ride to the liquor store.
Anyway, so we're still looking. We can't, you know, he couldn't believe it. He's looking and looking. He checked about 20 times. Like he could not believe that this picture was gone. Like, I mean, I could believe because I've experienced it.
Right.
So then he starts looking again, and then there's another picture there in the exact sequence of pictures where the one that was removed is, and it was like a psychedelic, all distorted kind of picture that was put on his camera, his phone camera. I've got the picture actually. I could share it with you sometime. I didn't
It
put
was
it in my. Well,
it was like a psychedelic nature picture. Was it still like the trees and
yeah, it was all distorted or whatever, but it wasn't like a camera anomaly because it was not there. It
yeah.
was added there after after we had looked and was looking for the original picture maybe 20 times. It was added there.
It was like, oh, they're looking for it. We better put something in its place.
Well, just just that they just want to open people's eyes and their hearts and and whatever, and let them know
Get
what
you
they can
thinking.
do. And I mean, this was more for this guy because I've had that happen a lot. Yeah, so they put that weird picture there, and he was whoa. And so at the end of the day, we're just like talking about everything and whatever, and we're standing around his truck, and all of a sudden he's got these bicycles in the back of his truck. One of them like flipped right over, like
Jeez, getting messed with.
So that's basically, like I said, like they brought this guy who I only met once, didn't know him from Adam, basically, into the restaurant because he was looking for the spike that we happened to find.
Yeah.
We were telling him about the story of what we experienced, and the main thing that we wanted to tell him about was the stick with the mushrooms on it that was taken off the camera. Then another psychedelic kind of picture was put on the camera, and we weren't doing psychedelics at the time.
At the time.
And it was just like, that's kind of like how they work, right? So when I say that they can bring people in from like 2 or 3, 4 different people and converge into one big story and one big knowing kind of thing or whatever. So that was kind of wild. But they also have the advantage of like time is not linear for them. You've heard of the aliens, like in your story with the Anunnaki, where you put the time back, Josh?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Sasquatch can do that too. Like they know what you're going to do before you even think it up in your head, And many times I'll be walking in the woods, and this is kind of like a kind of mind speak too. Although it's not a voice in your head, although I've had that too. I've had direct mind speak, but this kind of mind speak is like, oh geez, I wonder if it's like this or something. And then I'll look down at my feet and there's the answer right there. I'll have a thought and the answer is right there. And that happens all the time. So sorry about my voice.
No, you're fine. I actually sat down without grabbing a water too.
I got something in my throat and it's just raspy. But that story was compelling, right? I'm not trying to promote my channel, guys, on YouTube, but
I am.
Most of these stories I have made videos of them. So if you want to check them out, if you're interested.
Yeah, I put your name down here in the scrolling bar, so I'm trying to promote you for sure.
Well, I don't make any money off it. I just really I just want people to wake up a little bit, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think there's a common goal. Yeah. We're trying to get everybody to wake up here. There's a lot of similarities between the ET talks that I've had. I haven't had too many Sasquatch talks, but I'm seeing a lot of similarities, like the time.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, when I talked to Josh on the show, me and Mr. Beans, it wasn't about Sasquatch, but it didn't matter because there were so many similarities. The time thing, the confidence things, all of that stuff.
Yep.
They all do the same stuff.
I'm so grateful I got the chance to be on your channel, Brian, because that was it was like I was having a lot of realizations as I was on your channel talking about that Anunnaki story that I had, where before then I was still on the fence whether I thought it was just a crazy person, just messing with me. But then the more I looked at it, like you said, there's so many coincidences. Whenever you look at it, it's like, are these really coincidences? Like whenever it gets that many, synchronicities on top of each other, it almost seems like winning the lottery and getting struck by lightning at the same time. And I mean, I kind of had an epiphany talking to you, and was it Mr. Beans? Is that I can't remember what his name was.
Just call him Mr. Beans.
Yeah, Mr. Beans.
Frank Oliver Beans.
Yeah, I had a great time talking with you. And then right after I got off that interview with you, I talked to Barbara Jean Lindsay, and she told me, as I was talking to her, that she, I guess she had an overwhelming feeling that the guy I was talking to wasn't making that stuff up there. He really, if he wasn't in Anunnaki, he was being used as a vessel, or it was in his bloodline, or there was something more going on. And like you were saying, there's too many coincidences stacked on top of each other, pretty much.
There's not a doubt in my mind that what you said was what happened. Not a doubt, because so much of it rang true to my experiences, and what I know. So there's no question about it, man. You don't have to doubt it anymore.
Oh, I don't now. I definitely don't. And I've been digging more into it here lately, a lot more into it actually. And I've talked to Barbara a little bit. I talked to Preston a little bit. I briefly mentioned Preston. And Chad, I want to say something real quick.
Yes.
If you look in private chat, Chad, I think we have a guest that might be coming on here in just a minute.
Yeah, I saw that. Does he have a link, or does he need a link?
I think he needs a link. Yeah, and he's actually experienced in the Sasquatch tracking.
Oh, so, yeah, he's pretty experienced.
Yeah, that's why I made sure I wanted to send him a link out. I was pretty excited. And
maybe we can get into some of my pictures a little later. No hurry.
Oh yeah, you got
but I mean, I'm good for a bit. For sure.
Yeah, I've got 22 pictures right here pulled up, and they look really cool. So I want to get to those. I don't know if you want me to just pull them up.
Whenever.
Okay.
No hurry. Is this guy coming on?
I just sent him the link, so it might take him a second to get in here.
Yeah, you got some compelling. Are they called glyphs? I'm sorry, Brian. I'm still really new into the whole Sasquatch thing.
Glyphs is like a Sasquatch writing, but they personalize them to what you understand them to be. Like people try to make an alphabet, like a across the board meaning for them. That's not how it works. And I'll explain that as we look at some of the glyphs. Like for instance, if I come up with a meaning for a glyph, arranged between myself and them, like the Y stick, for instance, for me is man, the one prong, Sasquatch, connected with the stem, right? When I came up with that, the very next day, they left me one in the campground, and I've actually got that picture. And the meaning is just like undoubtedly what I came up with. It's hard to explain, but it's just a knowing, but it's also relevant to what the messages are. But after I came up with that, I realized, and I've got a few pictures to show you that, I realized that they knew that I was going to come up with that meaning 5 years before I did. Because I look back at some of my other pictures and I said, what the hell, man? There's that Y stick and the connection glyph of my wife and I, they knew years before I did. Like it's incredible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. It's really fascinating to me.
It's kind of hard to. Well, I mean, we'll see some of the pictures and I can explain it. To me, it's 100% certainty that what I said is true, at least for me, or whatever. But when you're talking about it, sometimes it's hard to get the point across. But maybe the pictures will.
Yeah, is there one in particular that you're thinking of right now I could pull up? I've got one of them pulled up.
You can pull them all up and whatever. I can just talk on them as they come up.
This one right here, I want to get some more information on, so I'll bring this up here.
The other thing I want to say real quick is Brian has thousands of these pictures, literally thousands. Me and Sonny actually looked through them for a good minute the other day, and it's
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this one, as soon as I seen this, I burst into tears. Started literally weeping because it's like it's so caring and loving. I mean, they made it decorative too. Like, see the bark and the moss and the fern and stuff.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw that, it was like, they left it for me, and it was like I was overwhelmed with emotion because can you see there's an A there? Can you see how there's an A?
Right here where it goes like this and then the cross?
Yeah.
Or is it more?
Yeah, well, you can see an A there. You kind of have to look at it abstractly, okay?
Yeah.
So the A means the clan, or RE. That's my clan leader's name in his signature. But sometimes other members of the clan will leave it because it's the clan of RE. It doesn't necessarily mean that he left it, but it's representing him. Okay.
Wow, that's
so
really
this
cool.
This is the clan of RE, and the X is friendship welcome. So what this means is friendship welcome from the clan of RE. Personal message. So when you see that in this beautiful laid out like this, I just started weeping and crying, like just bawling my eyes out.
Right. Like feeling very welcome.
Well, yeah, because it's so loving, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and actually there was one lady that I connected in with Sasquatch just because that's how they wanted it to be. Like I said, it's not really about me, but yeah, they left her a glyph. The next day I went out and found the exact same glyph. My wife suggested show my husband, if you know anything about me, because he knows some things about glyphs. So I found the exact same glyph the next day, and I was led there. It was like, I didn't go there by coincidence. They took me there, and it was a glyph I had never actually seen before. Of the tens of thousands I've seen, I'd never seen that particular one before. And when I showed that lady, she was immediately new. Okay. A year later, I went to her place with my wife, and we're walking around in her back field, and it was the exact same glyph, just absolutely beautiful, peeled, and like it stood right out, but it was signed by my clan leader. That was the difference. It had the A in there, which meant we did this, we brought you together, we, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's another one. It looks very similar. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, same thing.
So
but there's also the part on the that I'm looking at from the right hand side. It's also a direction thing. And there was
right here.
Yeah. That means it's friendship welcome to the clan of RE, but there's also a direction thing, and the entire glyph had about 5 rocks of different sizes and different other things in it, and it was talking about where they had headed. And the rocks were different sizes because sometimes they're size appropriate to sometimes rocks will represent Sasquatch people. And so a big one will mean like the big guy and the little guy, a little baby, and it was talking about where they were headed.
Wow, that's amazing. How long did it take you to decipher these types of glyphs?
Well, some of it is just from seeing them a lot, just from experience. But like I said, a lot of it is just because they give me that knowing. Like sometimes I'll look at a glyph and I'll just instantly know because they put that knowing in my head like immediately. So there's a few different ways, right? Some of it's experience and some of it's are you trying to go to another one?
I'm trying to pull one up that has I think Josh showed me one before where it shows the different rocks where they kind of represent the different Sasquatch that were there. I'm trying to find that particular one.
You have a hard time doing it, or?
I think I found it here. Let's see if this is
Brian, you've actually got a couple footprint moldings, don't you? Did you happen to send me?
No, I've never done that.
Okay, I can't remember.
I don't care about that kind of stuff.
I do have a picture of a footprint here, but it's not a molding.
This is an interesting story, though. This is a really interesting story. The other thing sometimes with glyphs is sometimes they're like a personal, like a writing and a message. Other times they will, bring it down a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Is that better?
Yeah, as long as we can see the whole thing. Other times they will just show you what they've witnessed. Okay, sometimes they'll just draw what they see you doing.
Oh. Okay.
Sometimes it's like a written language. I've even seen quite a few of them where there's like sentences with a bunch of different symbols in them that quite often I can read, and it'll even be signed with the guy who wrote a signature at the end. And when I say signature, it's generally like one letter. Okay, so this is really interesting. This is an example. Oh, and this is a perfect one, guys, because this will illustrate how they knew that I was going to come to an understanding years before I did. Okay. Remember I was saying that with the glyphs?
Yeah.
So my wife and I were camping out, and we couldn't have a fire that night. It was a fire ban or something, or I can't remember what it was. So we were sitting in the dark in front of our tent, and off to the left, my wife heard some heavy breathing, like a heavy individual, like just breathing, like not like heavy breathing, like, something lecherous, but just, like a big being, like breathing, right?
Yeah.
And she said that's Forsh, because she's very gifted, and she just figured that it was one of the. She just got that knowing that it was one of the four that I connect with the most. So anyway, so we retired to the tent for the night, and like I said, she said Forsh is in the bushes over there. I hear somebody breathing. So we got up the next day, and this glyph that you see here was partially hidden behind this tree. It was only about 10 feet in front of our tent, right? Okay.
Okay.
So can you see that it looks like a tent kind of thing? The main
I was
thing?
just going to point this. The first thing I saw was this barrier. It looks like a barrier right here. I don't know if that was intentional.
I don't know, but let's focus on the main thing.
Okay.
It could be. It could
Main
be.
structure
There's
here.
a lot of subtle things. So you see, it looks like a tent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's even the tent floor, and there's even the tent pegs, right? You see that?
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what this individual's saying. You see the two little sticks in the tent?
Yep, right here.
Yep. That's my wife and I. You see the big one outside of the tent?
This one here.
That's our Fortuna that was watching us. He
That's
drew
so
exactly
cool.
what was going on. Okay.
That is really cool.
Okay. And so, yeah, this is also really interesting. I'm getting that energy again. This is also really interesting because the tent roof looks a little different because, as you can see, there's an X on the roof, right? Can you see that?
Right here?
More the straight stick and the one going at the 2 o'clock angle.
These two?
Come down to the left a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
the 2 o'clock angle of the roof and the yeah, that's more like an X, right? Okay, you can see that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's friendship, welcome, love, connection kind of thing. He's saying. So he's saying he's watching us, and he's also loves us, and friendship, welcome, right? But this was taken. But I always wondered, what is that stick leaning off at the 11 o'clock angle? I couldn't figure that part out. You see that? You see that?
Yeah, I was
This
about to
one
ask.
here?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it hooks up with the vertical stick too. So I never could figure. I didn't know what it meant at the time, and I didn't for years. But then I came up with when I came up with my Y means man, Sasquatch connected. Look at how it hooks up with a message. There's not only a friendship welcome X, there's a man, Sasquatch connected Y in there. You see how it all is seamlessly the message. It's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's genius that they can fit so much information in just one
So
pictogram.
there's the tent. There's us in the tent. What he saw us doing. There's the friendship welcome X, and 5 or 6 years before I knew what it meant, he already had the man Sasquatch connected Y in there.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Gives you goosebumps.
There's no question about it, man. You see what I'm saying, right?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
getting just tangled. They love that kind of stuff. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. This
is a good 5 or 6 years before I knew what the Y meant. So, I'm looking back on my pictures and I say, oh my God, there's the Y.
Yeah.
And then I seen it again and again and again and again. I said, and it's all perfect with the message they're trying to speak. And so it's undoubted, undeniable.
This one here, I see different things, but I definitely want to get your opinion on it because this one is way different since it's out. It's not on the ground.
Oh yeah, that was just some absolutely. I just think that is like just a connection. You know how spider webs and whatever, connection and whatever, and universal connection and whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I think that is. And it was actually gone shortly, I think the next day or something. They didn't leave that up much for long. Quite often,
That's the one
if the message is personal or whatever, they will have it there and then it's gone. They take it away.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're like
I
spirits.
got some pictures of them too, if you want to look at some of those. But I got a lot of pictures there. But where's this guy? Is he coming on?
Let's see if he even saw my message.
Anyway, let's get
Yeah,
into
he
the
saw my message, so he must be just getting ready. This one here, I can't. I need some help seeing what I'm looking at here on this one.
Yes, this is the other one I really want to ask
Oh,
about.
look, there's the head sticking up behind the stump. That was taken by my friend Randy Brisson. That's not my picture, but yes.
Wow, that is.
Yeah, this thing trips me out a little bit.
This
I'm
is
glad
in my
you
area. I know this exact stump. I mean, this is where I actually hold my my gatherings every year. I mean, they're really active there. Like, yeah, this guy just
I almost see a face.
like I said, this is Randy Brisson's picture. This isn't mine, so I want to give him credit for it. But that's one of the Sasquatch peeking over the stump.
That is actual Sasquatch right there. That face that I see right in the middle, because that's
Absolutely.
exactly, wow. Yeah, that one yeah, it trips me
I
out.
mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely, you can see the eyes and the nose and mouth.
Yeah, and the guy's his mouth is like busted, you know, like
Yeah.
because my
You're not
friend just
supposed to
happened
see
to
me
look
right now.
around and there he was. And
Yeah, he's definitely got that busted face on him.
yeah, he does.
Just in chills a little bit. No, was that no, sorry, I got so many questions about that.
You want me to bring it back up?
Yeah, just a moment. Now, is that like an actual literal Sasquatch, or is that like one of the glyph type things where, like, I know I've seen rocks and stuff where it
That's
takes on
actually a
the
fully
shape.
materialized. Like they can, like I said, they can be in orc form. They can be like cloaked. They can be like in predator kind of form, where you see a shimmery kind of. There's a whole lot of different ways that they can show up. This is fully materialized.
You know, because I'm looking at my phone, but that looks like a face. The one I'm looking at
It's
right
his whole head.
now trips me out, to be honest. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
It looks like
fully materialized Sasquatch. Yeah. Like some of the other pictures I'm going to show you, they're partially cloaked on here, but there's no question.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could pull up a couple of those ones where they're partially cloaked.
You know, the ones that are cloaked, even though this is an amazing picture, sometimes the ones that are partially cloaked, that are dead obvious too, are even as compelling or more compelling because it speaks of their abilities, right? Like
that kid's in.
you know, you're not looking at it just a flesh and blood animal, right?
Yeah.
This one gets me chills.
Yeah, this one here might be one of the ones you're talking about where they're cloaked, because I'm not seeing one there, but
well, that's just a big head. That's just a big. See the big face over to the left? That's not a, you know, that's
is that more artistic or type
this whole thing here?
Yeah, doesn't it look like a face?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. When you said that, when you said over to the left, I'm like, whoa, there it is.
Yeah. So I'm new to like the whole thing about them appearing more in like a or what's the word I'm looking for? Artistic
like a metaphysical way where they're
I mean they're very evolved. Like I mean, I've actually got a picture of my clan leader, and that'll be coming up too. His face is etched in a big boulder, and I know it's his face because I've seen it, and other people who have seen him confirmed it too. Like that's how evolved these guys are, man. Wow. Yeah, that's like him coming in that can't think of the right word.
Okay, I do see the face now. I was not looking at it right correctly, or that.
I hear.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's almost like an abstract type. Which, and I've seen the boulder one that you were talking about earlier. And the first time I saw it, I could not see it. I had to look at it for like 5 minutes, and then it's like it hit me out of nowhere. I'm like, wow, that really does look like a face. And sometimes it makes me think about, you know, the way they say you can look at a cloud long enough and you'll see any type of thing that you want to. But then you look at certain things, it's like almost, you know, too coincidental, like you said. And yeah, like with that one over there, I definitely see a face. That's pretty crazy. I didn't see it.
Yeah, there is pareidolia and whatever. And I mean, you know, like, I'll be honest. I think that if the picture is for you, you're going to see it like immediately. Like I've had pictures, like some of these pictures, like it's just like there's no question about it in my mind. And other people, they're saying, oh, I see 5 there. They don't even see the one that I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so I don't know. It's a weird kind of thing.
This next picture I found here, this is pretty amazing. Like when you come across something like this in the woods, what is the first thing that you think of here?
Yeah.
Structure.
That is, are they making that structure for you to stay in, like a gift?
I gotta go to I gotta have a quick pee. Can you guys talk
no
about it for a
problem.
minute?
Yeah, we can take a 5-second break real quick.
No,
You have longer. You have longer than 5
I'll be right
seconds.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab my water too since we're
Okay.
taking a little break. We'll be right back here on the Chad Smith Podcast. I need some elevator music. I need an elevator music button. We'll be right back on the Chad Smith Podcast. This is pretty cool. If I ran across something like that, I'd probably just camp out and hang out in there all night and see what happens. I don't know. It looks pretty. Doesn't look too waterproof, but man, that looks comfy. Throw a sleeping bag in there. What's going on, Fap? Mating habitat. Yeah. That's a good one, Fap. That's really funny. It's really funny, Fap. We're all laughing at you. We're not laughing with you. We're laughing at you. What's up, Josh? Oh, I can't unmute you. It says I can't do it since you chose to do it yourself. You're muted. You're muted. Oracles, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out. Julie, over here giggling. Julie, what are you giggling about? My mating habitat?
Alrighty. I didn't want to pee into a bottle and pretend that.
Hey, you're fine, Brian. I got up and got my water and hummed some elevator music for everyone.
Alrighty. You guys have heard of bushcraft, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to say that every structure that I've found is Sasquatch. People have made some of them, but I will say with 100% certainty that Sasquatch make them, and they make a lot of them. And I know that because once again, when I have a question, they give me the answer. For instance, we found, my wife and I found one that people did make. And I don't want to lead anybody astray. Like, in my opinion, that's Sasquatch made. But people do make the odd one, and so we were thinking, no, like bummer, like people made this, and started thinking and stuff. And then the very next day, my wife went out to her area, and right in the middle of a great big swampy bog, probably 5-6 feet of water, like just a big swamp, was one of these structures right in the middle of it. Like the very next day, and that was basically them saying, yeah, dummy, we make them, don't doubt it, kind of thing. And plus there's other stuff, like for instance, there'll be footprints around sometimes, or there'll be their glyphs, or you sight them, see them, something of that nature. So they definitely make them, but the structures and the rock stacks and whatever are more of an inexact science, because at times people are involved, can be. So you just can't go across the board saying they're all Sasquatch made. As far as the glyphs go, way more compelling in that way, because I've had glyphs show up, the same glyphs that I connect with them here with have shown up in and I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, shown up in like an Oregon, Washington State, right beside my car, right beside my car, like they'll place them there. The exact same messages, the same AX, whatever kind of thing. So
yeah, like this one I just saw This
So
one looks like
unless it's a worldwide conspiracy where somebody's following me around and placing all this, which is not happening. So I just wanted to clarify. So the glyphs are way more concrete for me, although I know they make the structures 100%, no question, and they also make some rock stacks. But that's something people do as well, right?
Yeah.
So you just can't go up and say, "Oh, everything you see is Sasquatch made." You have to use a little discernment, right?
Yeah. It almost seems a little more abstract to me, like than personal, like you said sometimes.
Yeah.
This one here, you can clearly see that.
There's the Y stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you look at it from the other angle, which you can't turn it around, but just kind of look at it, it would be an A, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the A before.
Yeah, I saw the A was the first thing I saw.
An A, and there's also the Y stick leaning up on it. So that's two other things. And then they quite often put ferns on the bottom of their little structures or whatever. So that one, to me, I would say is almost for sure Sasquatch made. And you see the big long stick trailing off from it?
This one here?
Well, that one and the other one? Yeah. That's another sign because they do that a lot.
Yeah, and if you looked at it from the other side.
No, on the teepee thing.
Oh, okay.
The long sticks coming out from it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Sasquatch thing. So
I was going to say from the other side, this would be an X too. I don't know if that has anything
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they've got Friendship Welcome. They got the Clan of RE signature there, and they've got the Man Sasquatch Connected all there.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it looks like it's real close to a human structure right here.
Yeah,
building.
That's where I hold my campouts every year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
These trees look so different than what we have around here. We don't have moss-covered trees like that. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. Really rainforest.
Another thing people need to know about you, Brian, is like you're not doing this for money or anything like that. This is it's kind of personal to you, and I've a lot of your pictures. Me and Sonny, spent like a few hours looking through your pictures and some of your glyphs and everything, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of them. And I don't see anybody, wasting their time to do something like that as a hoax. Like I can tell, and I'm really good at picking up vibes from people. And I will say, like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, I would have thought a lot of this was, bogus. But now, with me experiencing some of the things I've experienced, I've got a real good way of picking up a vibe off somebody where they're putting emotion into something. I could tell that, you're committed to this, because it's personal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not only that, there's consistencies in what they do that you notice. When you see it enough and enough, you just know, right?
Right.
Just logically, without even like that knowing thing I talk about. Just looking at it logically. But thank you for that, Joshua. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
There's a Sasquatch footprint. They're not that hard to find up here. I got lots of pictures of footprints or tracks. I mean, they're not really that hard to find.
It's a Dave Scott heel right there.
Yeah, let's hope Dave Scott might be able to. Do you know the dimensions on this footprint right here?
It was a juvenile. It wasn't really huge, but it's obviously a Sasquatch footprint. They also left some glyphs and whatever by it and stuff, and some other stuff.
Yeah,
this is when my wife and I were camping out way, way deep in the woods one time by our river.
Isn't there also some distinctions that you're supposed to be able to make between a human footprint and a footprint like this right here?
Well, there's the mid-tarsal break.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
It's just shaped differently. Yeah,
it's big. It's real wide right here.
I mean, I've had people who are into evidence and stuff and have specialized in footprints and stuff, including my friend Tom Cantrell or whatever, and he said one of the really, really good track, a no-brainer. Yeah.
I like this one because we stay in the same type of ground right here. This is really cool.
Yeah.
This one was so special. My friend Randy Brisson and I, the guy who took that stump picture, it's funny because we always experience stuff the same way. Like we get the same hit up with the same energy. We've been blasted with like energy blast where it went right inside of us and rattled around and shot up top of our head, and weird stuff. Just we always seem to experience and have the same thing happen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're way deep in the woods, and I saw this glyph in the sand. Now, if you notice, it's once again a friendship welcome from the clan of RE. There's the X and the A, right? You can see that, right? In the big one.
Yeah. Yep.
Look to the left, though. There's a little one woven into it. The same thing.
Right there.
Yeah. The same damn thing.
That's awesome.
So we're looking at it, and all of a sudden, we both. I'll tell you another experience we had that's related to that, but I'll tell you this one first. That's really interesting. So we're standing there looking at it. All of a sudden, we both looked over at the same time into the bush, and there was RE, my clan leader, standing there. And he was in one state just before being fully materialized, but he was materialized enough that you could see his bulk. You could see everything, basically. He was just like, if, say, fully materialized is 100%, he was probably like 95% or whatever. You could see, you know, the shape of his head, the bulk, everything. And he's over 12 feet tall. And as soon as he saw us see this, he just wanted us to see it and recognize it. And as soon as we looked over and he saw that we saw it and we saw him, he just he just almost like a how do I say it? Well, not an escalator. What's the flat one called?
Oh, like a moving sidewalk that they have at airports?
Yeah. As soon as we saw him, he started going like really supernatural. He just went across like,
Wow.
you know, and no head bob or whatever. And then he just totally disappeared. But he just wanted us to see him. And he wanted me to see this because it once again confirmed what I know, what it means. Friendship welcome from the clan of RE. So he was just
cool.
hammering that home even more. So friendship welcome from the clan of RE. And then what do? We see him.
Yeah, and it's amazing to think of how big they are and massive their bodies are. And then you just see this delicate twig just chilling right here. And it's just, how did they just imagine them putting that there and being so careful with it?
I've had them change glyphs and whatever right in front of my eyes when I didn't see them. You know, like I'm standing there and I look away for 1 second and then I look back and it's changed.
Oh, wow.
Like significantly changed.
Also,
anyway, I was going to tell you this experience. Sorry?
I was going to ask you, what do you think do you think there's like a big message behind why they're doing stuff, like as far as leaving glyphs and stuff like that? Do you think it's like maybe to connect people with each other and to nature and, you know, to our, you know, who we really are? Like,
it's personal for me in some ways, but it's also because I'm sharing this, it's opening up your eyes and hearts, right? Isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's many reasons for it. There's many reasons for it. And sometimes you have to figure out what they mean from experience. And sometimes it's just an instant knowing, like they'll just give you that knowing right away. You look at it and you just know. And it's not necessarily because you've seen that once, you know, over and over again. Sometimes it's just they give you that instant knowing. So here, I'll tell you a story about, I don't know if this involves time or whatever. I got lots of stories with time and stuff, but this is once again with Randy Brisson and I, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably like this. This is very, very interesting. And it's kind of unique in some ways. So we were coming back from hanging out with the Sasquatch kind of thing and whatever. And he actually saw one that day. I could feel them in my third eye. I could feel their energy. Like I knew they were around, and they tossed a little pebble out on the path a couple times, which just means, hi, we're here, you know, kind of thing. We're around, just let you know they're there. But at that point, it took me like 3 years before I actually saw one. And it's just like, when you're ready, right? Just the way it is. But on that day, I was faced the wrong way and he was faced looking at me, but looking up the hill, and then one walked by. Of course, I didn't see it because I wasn't ready at that time or whatever. It just wasn't my time to see one. But in any event, I've seen them a lot since then. But you know, it's just whenever you're ready or whenever the time is, it'll happen. So what happened is we're coming back, and all of a sudden we're walking under this tree, right? We just walking under this tree, and this is really bizarre. All of a sudden, we both, with no provocation, we don't know why we did it. There was no hunch that anything was coming, but identical time, at exactly the same time, we both looked up like this and put our hands up over our head, like something was falling on us. Like we both did that, like, you know, with no, like I said, no provocation. We don't know why we did it. Looked up, put our hands over our head, and then all of a sudden we heard this, like this mechanical cat sound, like it sounded like something really bizarre, man. But like we knew it was coming before we heard it or felt it.
Wow.
Wow. You said you've had some actual UFO sightings around. What's up, Sonny?
Oh, guys.
You got actual UFO on some of your Sasquatch sightings as well, too, right? And I just want to make sure I'm correct on that before going any further.
Yeah, we were having an experience one time where they were throwing these big boulders off of this metal roof. Bang, crash. You know, this is way out in the bush too. I mean, it's 100% Sasquatch. Plus, we could feel them, and they were actually tossing little pebbles in our area, in our like over our shoulders and stuff too. And we actually came to a big understanding that day, because I wear hearing aids, so I don't hear that as good as I could. I mean, I'm not like deaf by any means, but my hearing's not as good as some people's. But my friend who was there that day, he could hear them breathing and walking around us too, while we were experiencing all this, but they were cloaked. And so I came to a knowing as to why sometimes they're so accurate with their rocks and stuff that they toss. The reason is because like we were facing each other, standing right beside each other, Randy and I. All of a sudden, a little rock came flip over our heads, and we both saw it go past our eyes and land. And what was happening is the Sasquatch guy was just right behind us. He just like boink, you know.
Just to let you know he's there?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So anyway, during that experience when we heard all the stuff crashing off the roof or whatever, one point we looked up and we saw like a classic saucer-shaped object up in the sky, and it just flew into, I think there was only one cloud in the sky that day, and it flew into a small cloud and it never came out, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought you were talking about. And we were just talking yesterday, me and Chad, about clouds, and I think it was Sonny as well, about sometimes how these things can, you know, they can disguise themselves as clouds.
That was that cube I saw. There was a video of a cube with a sphere in the middle of it, and the cube just like materialized into a cloud. It just vanished into a cloud.
Yeah. And there was another aspect of that story too. And like, you know, I just tell it as it is. I mean, you know, I'm just gonna say it. Like they can cloak into birds and whatever. I've had a lot of experiences with ravens and owls when they were actually Sasquatch, or they were looking through the eyes, like, and been gifted feathers and stuff, and just things that went on that just undeniable. But anyway, as we saw the UFO and Sasquatch interaction, we also saw a red-tailed hawk, which is very connected to my First Nations friend, and it was watching as all this was going on, like very close vicinity, staring directly at us, and then it flew right over our heads and then landed just a really short distance away and was watching us again, kind of thing. So we had like a spirit animal or a cloaked Sasquatch, or not cloaked, shapeshifted, or seeing through their eyes, UFO and actual Sasquatch activity going on all at the same time.
That's fascinating to me, especially since you know, Preston Dennett was just, I know Preston Dennett's been on your channel talking about, and I was actually going to Actually, real quick, would you mind explaining to us real quick when Preston Dennett was on your channel? Did he have to talk about any things like regarding Sasquatch and UFO connectivity? Because that's something I'm really curious about.
I'm not sure. You know, that was like a long time ago. I think, if I recall, like Sasquatch have been seen on UFOs.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they're one of the more common beings that are seen on UFOs, like they're fifth or sixth or seventh or something of, you know, like many different kinds of beings that are seen on UFOs. So he might have been talking about that.
Yeah, he did. He mentioned that. He mentioned them actually. He mentioned being seen around UFOs and actually on actual UFO craft, which that was completely new to me. Oh, damn.
Yeah, like you know how people are taking aboard craft or whatever, and then they remember what they saw and whatever, and who they saw on it or whatever. Like quite often, people say they see Sasquatch type creatures on that, or I don't want to say creatures.
That would blow my mind to find myself in a craft and then to also see Sasquatch. I'd be like, okay, everything's real. Everything's real.
Yeah.
No, it completely relates with. I'm not going to say this person's name. One or two of you on the chat already know this, but somebody who I know was telling me he had a remote viewing experience about why Sasquatch are here and about why they're like a nature guardian type spirit, and it's because they were originally on another planet, as bizarre as that sounds, and that something happened, whether it was their doing or somebody else's doing, and I could be wrong about this. This person could be wrong, but something happened where this being the Sasquatch being was, it was killed out or it went extinct. And I'm not saying it was because of their own doing. It might have been somebody else's doing. And that like part of their rehabilitation is kind of like being like a nature guardian type spirit. Like I said, I might be wrong about some of the details. Brian might know more about this, but
nothing would surprise me. I do know they're nature guardians, though. That part is definitely true. That part.
Yeah. That's why I first got introduced to all this. Really, what got me curious into the whole Sasquatch thing. To be honest, it's really fascinating to me.
Do you want to pull up a few more pictures?
Yeah, I was just going to, because this one's got me a little confused. I don't see the two things that you were pointing out.
Oh, okay. So once again, remember how I said that they will know
I'll be right back.
the meaning of a glyph?
Yeah.
Before I even understand it, and they'll be connecting with me with that meaning, even before, like years before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the little leaf, I think, is just like I think this was left by the female, and she likes to leave little flowers or leaves or little decorative things. So I'm not really sure what that means, the leaf, other than it might just be a decorative touch. But the main glyph is what I call the fish glyph or whatever, and it's about my connection with my wife. Okay, 100% sure of that, because when we were getting married and stuff, they left like dozens of these, like just all the time, and that's what it means. It's the connection of my wife and I. The main the fish glyph thing. Okay, so I was going back and I was looking for this picture because I was going to do a video on that particular subject, and this has always been one of my favorites. So I looked back on it and I said, "What in the fuck, man? Look at they've got the Y stick curved into it. You see that?
Yeah, right here, curved in.
Yeah, when I first seen it, I didn't know what that Y stick meant or whatever. So what that means is Susan and I are connected. Our connection, and man, Sasquatch are connected, and we're connected to you. It's just a loving connection message.
That is cool. Yeah, it's almost like she's leaning into you. It's almost like a man and woman together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it also means that we're connected to them too. Like we're all connected, literally. But, they're just Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. I'm trying to pick another one. Oh, this one. Whew. This one has got to have some stories to it. Hold on, let me pull this one up. I got to hear about this one.
Okay, well, like remember when I say that sometimes they will draw literally what you are doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's a message, sometimes it's written like a sentence, sometimes it's a big message, sometimes it's just like their signature, which is generally a one letter, and I know the signatures of 4 of them. This one is just depicting me hiking. It's a stick man. And you see how it looks like I'm hiking?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is. And you know, and the other thing is there's a few things that I know for a fact that even speak to the STEM even more so, because when I first started out with them, with the clips and whatever, or this whole journey in this education, I call it like being in school, they would add different things on. And then once they added a new idiosyncrasy or something, made it a little more evolved, or, you know, like going up in your lesson or your grades or whatever, then they would continue to do that. So 2 things that 100% speak of Sasquatch here is, you see the main body is partially snapped.
Right here?
Yep. Partially
Okay.
snapped. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that is very, very common for them that I associate with. And then you see right beside that, the piece that is leaned up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's another thing that they show me. And once they do that, then they keep moving on with that, because, you know, you picked up on that. It's like you learn how to the letter A, B, C, or whatever. Well, once you learn B or whatever, then you know, you see it and understand it moving forward, kind of thing.
Chad,
so that's,
Chad,
that's the kind of thing. So yeah.
After Brian showed me a few of these before,
Mm-hmm.
I started to be able to decipher them a little bit. Like the one you showed me, Brian, that was kind of like this, but it had the triangle out in front of where your stomach would be and the rock in the center.
Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, is that a pregnant baby?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
so,
Yeah, because Sonny, like I said, some of them are like a personal language that is established between you and them, but some of them, they're literally just drawing what they see you doing. So some of them are, you know, like, yeah, like that one, the pregnant one, is pretty obvious, right?
And the tent one, with you and your wife in the tent, that one's awesome. That's like
Yeah,
my favorite one.
We just talked about that.
Did you? I
Yeah.
came in late, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man.
No,
This is
you're
very
good, man.
casual.
Sonny caught the pregnant one before I did. I remember staring at it thinking, you know, like, what the hell is that? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm so new into this field.
Like, I see the A's. I see the A's and the X's now automatically when he pulls those up there.
Yeah.
And now, if anybody, like, you know, like, some people are just closed-minded. They say, that's just random. Just felt like that. Well, you've seen some of those ones I've shown you. And this one too. Does this look random? Like it just felt like that?
No.
What's the odds of that? Like 0?
Yeah.
Look, it's even peel and it just stands out. Like it's just beautiful.
For you to find them over and over with that A and the X, the odds for that are just that's. And
not only do I find them over and over, not in the same place, like I was saying to the boys here, Sonny, I find them in every location I go to. When I go to Washington or Oregon, they'll leave them right beside my car, you know, like right by the passenger door or in my backyard, kind of thing. So, you know, it's beyond random, and it's beyond, it's just, there's no question about it.
Simon thinks this one looks like a little boat.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If Simon wanted to think that was a little boat, and then he went out with that understanding, then they might start connecting with him with that meaning. That's how it works.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying.
when I tell you what a glyph means, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it means for you. You have to work it out for yourself.
Yes,
that makes sense.
That's how he explained it to me. Like,
and it's not just like you work it out and then you just imagine that what it means. They actually show you, prove it. You know, like I said, from years before and whatever. It's just the way it reads that. Yeah, that is actually what it means, and they know what it means to you specifically. That's brilliant kind of stuff. Really.
That's how I took it, Brian. When you explained it to me, is they came up with a certain language to communicate with you, and. Yeah, and for me, it might be different. Yeah, those sticks might have to be arranged in a different way for me to see those signs.
Or you might get the exact same thing that I get, but it means different to you.
Yes. I'm glad you brought this picture up. I was trying to think of the picture I wanted you to bring up earlier. This right here, it's so organized. And, I mean, whenever you see something like this maybe once or twice, I feel like maybe coincidence, but over and over, there's more to it. And yeah, Brian, can you explain this right here real quick? It's fascinating to me.
Well, this is just like a circle of connection, right? Basically.
That's beautiful. It looks like almost like the first thing that got in my head when I saw it was like a ceremony. Looks like a ceremonial.
It reminds me of Dreamcatcher, to be honest. And maybe it's because I got American, in my blood, but that's the first thing that comes up with me.
Could be, man. Yeah. But the circle is very big with them because it talks about connection, circle of connection of everybody, right?
That's awesome.
And they put a bunch of mushrooms under you can see a few of them sticking out. Whole whack of mushrooms buried in there.
Oh yeah, I didn't see those before.
Yeah.
And this is fresh. I mean, that's another cool thing is that this isn't something that would survive over a few days. All these leaves would be gone, and
no. And I think next time I went in, or shortly after that, it was gone. Like I said, if they leave you something like this, then generally they take it away pretty quick too.
It's beautiful.
That's what makes me feel like it's something so much more personal, because it's almost like getting you in touch with nature, because you're going out almost on a what is it called, where I'm trying, like I cannot remember, my mind just totally went blank, but where in like old Native American traditions they would send like a Native American alone out into the wilderness to go on like a spirit guide type thing. I can't remember exactly what the word is I'm looking for, but a spirit quest is that what it's called. It's kind of like what it's what it reminds me of. It's like a spirit quest. If I'm wrong on that terminology, I should be better on that, because I do have Native American in my blood, but that's just
exactly what you're talking about. Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this.
That's all that makes me think of, man. It seems personal, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Connection circle.
I like that one.
This
awesome.
one actually. This day, actually, I saw one walk across the path right in front of me, but it was like invisible. It was cloaked, and then it just appeared out of thin air. And that same day, they left about 4 or 5 of the connection glyphs about my wife and I. The fish one that I showed you, because we were getting married shortly after that. And they also led me off trail twice. Not random. I mean, I went off trail twice, and both times I found like beautiful things like this. Walked right up to them.
That's so cool.
So they're leading me there.
This is fascinating to me, because you would have to have those specifically curved branches to make that pattern right there, and it's a beautiful pattern. I mean, somebody would take that time and effort, and that's mind-boggling.
I mean, it is, and another of the things that you'll look for are just patterns that you get to look for. You see how on a lot of those curved sticks and whatever, or a lot of the sticks that I've shown you, they're either peeled or they're rubbed off in some ways. See all the missing bark on them.
Yep.
Like
I don't know how your area is, but where I hunt, when I get into that kind of ground, if I was to walk through that with my hunting boots, you would see it. You would actually see the divots. If I walked around that thing trying to make that, in other words, you'd see my boot prints tearing that grass up all over the place.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen about 3 of them that day. Go ahead, Sonny. Sorry.
And also, when you showed me this one, I thought, man, it's like he almost came up on somebody or something that was going to make a basket, and he scared him away. Like they were going to weave a basket. That's like, yeah, they were going to start weaving a big basket. I don't know. This one, I like this one. It reminds me of like a dream catcher. Or
except they leave them by design. It's not like I walk up and I scare them away. There's a purpose to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. Like you said, there's no, that one gets my mind racing in 100 directions. I love it.
It just pumps out positive energy for some reason. Just the shape.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else we got here.
Pretty awesome,
there's some more good ones. You liking these pictures, or?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Josh has shown me.
See, I could tell you a bunch of stories and whatever, but I think the pictures.
Yeah, these help a lot.
They help a lot. See my guy in there. This
is the one Josh
clothed.
pointed out to me.
You even see the patty nose right in the middle. See? Yep, that's him, man. That's RE.
That is very cool. Yeah,
The story behind so when I was saying like Randy Brisson's picture of the one behind the stump, like that's one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to take anything away from it because it's amazing, and I know it's legitimate because I know the guy and I know the area. But this picture, in a way, is just as compelling in the sense that, to me, it's obvious what we're seeing, but we're seeing them in a cloaked kind of state, semi-cloaked. So that speaks of their abilities, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, when you see them semi-cloaked, is that because they're not really sure if they should show you their fully embodied self, or is that like a trust thing?
Like a camouflage.
It can be, or just, there could be many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But when I took this particular picture, I didn't actually take this picture and see him there. It was after the fact. I didn't see him when I took the picture. My wife pointed it out to me and said, "There's RE in your picture." What happened was that day I was coming into the woods. As I drove in, sometimes they hit me up with this loving energy.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, like I'm not a crybaby or anything like that, right? But sometimes it's so strong and powerful and loving that they hit me up with this love energy, and I just started, like actually literally making the noise and everything, tears coming down my face, just weeping. And I said, RE, come and visit me today. Come and visit me today. So I'm walking around taking pictures all over the place of, all my favorite spots, and I take all kinds of pictures. And then after the fact, when I got home, well, he did come and visit me. There he is.
That's awesome. We got another one in the chat here. He kind of looks like he's dressed up.
He's a relative.
What's happening, boys?
He's driving.
Are you driving, Dave Scott?
Oh man, Dave.
I am driving.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna pick up my buddy Little Marky Spender. We're gonna go hunting for some Sasquatch and some grouse.
Damn.
All right.
Got Dave live on location again.
Don't shoot at them. They won't like you.
No. Oh, I know that. Yeah,
I don't know if you're gonna show themselves with your beard. You're gonna scare them all away.
Oh, I think he's going to
attract, isn't it?
Dave Scott's a British Columbia guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't live that far from me. I'm just out in Maple Ridge.
I used to live in Mission.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Abbotsford.
Well, you wouldn't want to be out there right now. It's a big swamp.
No, I'm up in 100 Mile House now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Staying away from the floods.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is you get all the idiots out there who moved up here from Vancouver hoarding all the food in the shopping malls now.
Oh, okay. Do we have any more pictures?
Yeah, let's see here.
We're just going over some of my pictures, Dave. Have you been listening the whole time? Or?
Pardon? No, I just hopped on.
Oh, okay.
Had a busy morning so far.
Would you guys mind pulling up that?
Breakfast.
Can you guys pull up that the glyph that he had of the spiral, the one that Brian was showing? I love that one. I wanted Dave to see that real quick.
Check this out, Dave.
What'd you do, bro?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Is that in Harrison?
No. No, it was actually in Vancouver. Huh. Believe it or not, there's a big wooded area in Vancouver that I was told some of their structures and some of their stuff and whatever was out there, and so I went up there and I actually seen one that day, and then I was led to all these different circuit things. I found about 4 of them.
Wow. I don't know how I'd react if I came across that in the forest.
Wonderment, maybe.
Probably be jumping for joy.
You might find one today.
Yep. Or a stairwell
Never
out
know.
there.
Oh, them damn stairwells. That scares the living bejesus out of me.
I got a couple more
I
pictures.
honestly don't want to see one of them stairwells, man. I really don't. And I know that feeling that they're out there.
I like stairwells because I sing, and I like the acoustics in stairwells.
There you go. Hey, Brian, I haven't seen a nighttime photo yet. But
okay. Well, this is actually, I don't have them in sequence. So this is going to be, it's kind of hard to, do you see a face there? Kind of?
I was trying to make a face out because I figured
The whole thing is kind of like nose, face, smiling kind of thing.
I can see it.
I'm sure as soon as I see it
up in the right corner.
Oh, right
Chad.
here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Big nose, little mouth.
Okay, so my wife and I wish I had to put these in sequence, but like you told, like, you know, like you asked me to, Joshua asked me to come on 20 minutes before. You know, so I was panicking trying to get some pictures because it's just more compelling when I can show pictures. But there are a few more in this
that
sequence.
Joshua's
but,
dangerous.
What?
That Joshua's dangerous that way.
Yeah, but we'll come across some of the other ones and then I can kind of tie them together. But this was like the last picture in a sequence of about 5 or 6. What happened was there was no fire going and we weren't smoking. This is actually like no. This is not fire smoke and this is not like cigarette smoke. This beam came in. We were actually talking about, well, let's take some more. What is that? In your chest? Oh, I thought you had.
What's he doing?
We were sitting around. I thought it's like a big belly or something. What the heck?
Dave's stealing the show here. Here's another nighttime one. This is probably. Oh yeah. So if there was no fire
put
going.
that back on.
Oh, okay. I was gonna pull up another nighttime one.
Well. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. You saw the face there, though, right? Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, pull up another nighttime one. So my wife and I were sitting around and we were talking about the orb thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
We thought. Actually, is there another one beside that?
Yeah, let's see.
Might be better to do the next one and then come back to that. Is there another nighttime one?
Yeah, this one here has got a lot more smoke on it.
Okay, let's go to that one. And then back to that one.
Okay.
Okay, so we were sitting around, we're talking about orbs because some friends of ours were getting some amazing orb pictures, right? So my wife had her camera out and she said, let's see if we can get some more pictures. So there was a sequence of about 6 pictures she took over maybe, 10 seconds between the pictures, whatever, something like that. Just like snap. And so the first picture, there was absolutely nothing. It was completely black. Mm-hmm. The next picture, we saw a few, like what we thought were orbs coming in. The next one, there was like a whole whack of them from nothing, right? Then this one seemed to form into like almost like a beam. And what we picked up on this, my knowing was the knowing that they gave me with this one is that this powerful being was bringing its consciousness in from all different points of consciousness and formed into this. Okay. And like I said, there was no cigarette smoke and there was no fire. This is just like a spiritual kind of mist or manifestation or whatever.
That's impressive.
So all these orbs, and I wish I had it shown to I'll show you some other time, but anyway, there was a whole whack of orbs and then they all formed into that. Like, you know what I mean? Like bringing its consciousness in from all different points of consciousness and formed into this. You can almost see a face in there. You see that?
I was trying to make out a face here. I didn't see one here.
Just to the right of center, that could be pareidoia, but that's what I've seen anyway. But that's definitely not pareidoia. I mean, there was no source for that other than
if there's no
orbs coming in.
Yeah, and it's almost like a blue smoke too.
Yeah. Okay, so you were snapping pictures. So we got, and like I said, this came in from all different points of consciousness, these orbs, and formed into this. So it was like it had its consciousness all over the place, brought it together. So let's go to that next picture.
Where'd it go? It's more the smoke's on the left side of the screen, right? Oh, I think I closed it. Man, Dave's got some feedback.
Oh, that's from my stereo. Hold on.
We have that next one then?
Yeah, I pulled up the wrong one. This is the right one with the smoke on the left side. There we go.
Okay, so this is, like I said, just shortly after. So this being that manifested into that, it's walking off. It's walking off now, right? Walking off to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next picture in the sequence was that big face looking at my wife.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to that one. I need a better system of
Boys, I'm
pulling
gonna
these
run.
up.
I'm gonna run here because I gotta drive.
Okay, Dave.
I'll let you guys know if we get anything.
Yeah, let us know. Send us.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, I need to get your number so we can get you on the show. So I'll get that from the guys.
You got it.
Okay.
So that was the next picture in the sequence, the big kind of face looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's benevolent and smiling, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, after you pointed that one out, you can definitely see the face in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that there's no source for the smoke at all, and it's.
Well, yeah. Even if somebody said, "Well, that's cigarette smoke," I mean, yeah, which it wasn't. The last two that we looked at, it was all gathered into that entity or whatever on the right-hand side of the picture, and then it walked off to the left. So she didn't change position. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there was no source for it.
I
guess if somebody was smoking, they could have, and then blew it that way. But no, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
You see that guy looking over my shoulder?
Is he right here?
That's his head.
I'm starting to see him now.
What?
I said I'm starting to see him now without.
Yeah, and there's his arm, his shoulders, his full body, basically. That's my guy, Little Bud.
Is his face right here?
Oh no, a little more over.
Okay, I just saw.
No. Right. Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay. Yep, right here.
A little down. Yep.
Yeah, that's his forehead and his nose and eyes.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Now come
You
down
see
a
his
little
arm
more.
like about 6 inches below that.
Yeah.
Well, not 6 inches, 3 inches.
Body.
The body's kind of darkening up.
Okay, yeah. Right here.
There you go.
Yeah, this guy follows me all over the place. I've had a rock throwing contest with him, actually. That was amazing. It was just, he kicked my ass, mind you, but.
I was going to say, who won that one? I wonder.
Oh, he did. Well, not the first day. I won the first one. And then I laid the challenge down to him, and then I went back the next day, and it was like a shit kicking.
Oh, hey, here's another one.
Ricochets and like just weird.
Here's another one where the stick is cracked in half.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. And I like the little thing on the bottom too. That's kind of a little circular kind of thing. I've seen that before. I've seen that in a few different pictures, and
you definitely have your A and your X. And
and then in the central part is like their interpretation of my B. That's my B in there. I know it's a little bit abstract, but you see what I mean?
Oh, the B?
Yeah, you see where the Y stick is in the middle? That's part of the like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's not a perfect B, but it is a B.
Yep.
And the Y stick connected. We're connected to you, and then that triangle, open triangle thing up top is a roof of protection. That's saying that they're watching over me, protecting me, whatever.
This here?
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Now, Brian, I want to ask you a real quick question. Whenever you go out in the woods and you see things like this, are they always like right in an open area where it's obvious for you to know, or do you have to actually like look for it? I'm just curious.
They can be off trail and they can be on trail. They can be no set pattern. They could be anywhere.
Okay, and I apologize for the last minute notice, you guys, but I'm about to have to get off here in like 5 minutes. I've got a family member that just pulled up or is
Yeah,
about to
me
pull
too,
up.
buddy. Me too. I gotta get ready for work tonight. But I was gonna point out one more thing that Sonny pointed out earlier is like there's no footprints. You would see this is so wet and mushy. You'd see footprints everywhere. And
So delicate, yeah.
I've seen
My
an
heavy
area.
boot footprints would have definitely left tracks there, guys.
oh
I've
yeah.
seen an area the size of a room where there's one single, like, here I am footprint right in the middle of it and no others. You know, so they're capable of that. I actually know a guy, I've never experienced this just personally, but I've heard this a couple times of people not seeing the Sasquatch, like it's cloaked, but they're seeing the footprints being laid down as they're walking.
Oh, that's crazy.
Whoa. I actually think we got through all the pictures that you sent me. So that was
Cool.
perfect
It was a
timing.
pretty good collection, but you know, like I said, I was kind of rushing, but
Yeah.
This has been a pretty
yeah, I'd like to tell my gift rock story one time too, but we'll leave that for another time. That's quite a big story.
Yeah, what story was that?
I was given
Sounds like
3
Dave-
gift rock. What?
It sounds like Dave's going to want you on his show. You're going to have to tell a lot more stories. You're going to have more to tell.
Well, they're not stories or the truth, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, Dave's into well, he's doing it right now, and going out tracking Sasquatch. That's why I was really glad that he got to be on here and talk to you at least for a moment.
well, all he's got to do is just go out there and just say, "Hey, I'm Dave. I would like to meet you." You don't have to go tracking them. You just sit there and you invite them in with your heart and your intent.
Well, he's had some pretty compelling experiences with Sasquatch, hasn't he? I'm still so new to this.
With his viewing post. His viewing post, I think didn't he get a handprint on a ball or something? I think he got a handprint on a ball. He's had him take his nickels and put them back.
Oh yeah,
later.
changed different nickels.
Yep.
That's wild.
I had one of my juveniles take a hockey card that I used to sell hockey cards, like old ones, like from the 60s and stuff, 50s. On YouTube, I had that juvenile that we seen looking over my shoulder. He went right in my car and took it.
Wow.
And
Fascinating.
it was one of those bubble envelopes, right? He took the card out, resealed it, stuck it back under where it was, under the mat. And then when I went to mail it, something doesn't feel right. And I saw this, you could see the fingerprints on it and where he peeled it up or whatever and resealed it or whatever. But he took it to teach me a lesson because they were saying, you are paying way too much attention to selling these cars and not enough to us. That was what the lesson was. No, I'm serious.
That's amazing.
So my car was locked, and there was like valuables and all kinds of stuff in there. Nothing else was touched other than that, And I mean, let's face it. Well, I seen the big greasy fingerprints too. I've actually got a picture of that on the envelope. But I mean, let's face it. This doesn't, I know what happened 100% and I know why. Actually, he confirmed it after that a few days later. He was telling me that he did take it. And I was asking him a bunch of questions and he was knocking back yes or no. And I asked him, are you a crook? And he didn't knock. But the thing is that if a thief goes into your vehicle and steals something, if you see an envelope that you want to steal, are you going to open it up, take the thing out, do all that, and then stick it under the format again? Or are you just going to grab it and run?
Yeah.
No crook in the world is going to do that.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. Not that I know of.
Put it back there immediately. Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks, Josh, for making this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, I'm so glad you got on here, man. Got us 2 hours went by really quick.
Yeah,
it seems like Dave Scott might want you on Space Star Radio.
Sure.
That's really
Absolutely.
exciting.
that'd be
I
great.
love talking about him. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, man.
We'll do it again.
It was fun. I'm sorry I was late, guys. But I made it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Hey, I'm on your show next Friday, right, Sonny?
What was that, Brian? I'm sorry.
I said, am I not on the Paranormal Chop Shop next Friday?
Yeah, I got you scheduled down for the 3rd.
There we go.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I'll see you on there too.
If you guys haven't heard Brian's intro voice, it's incredible. Yeah, I love it.
The what?
Your intro voice for your show, the intro voice that you do.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard that one
Oh,
yet.
you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it real quick. Yeah.
Well,
It's
like
out
I said,
there.
I have the pork and bean show, right?
Yep.
I got roommates, so I hope I don't piss them off. But yeah. So we have fun, right? I just go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pork and bean shows, starring Port Cunningham and Frank Oliver Baines. You know, and then it goes all the hell from there.
That is so cool.
I love it.
Hey man, check out your video, and the ending. The ending's pretty good too.
Oh, I love the intro, man. I'm definitely going to go check that out.
I got like clips of the Three Stooges on there, Groucho Marx, Charlie Chaplin. I got the Patty film on it. All kinds of neat stuff.
That's awesome.
Bunch of good music.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to tell my full Anunnaki story on Brian's Pork and Beans channel, which is awesome. And
yeah, that's my latest upload, actually. And it took me a whole week to do it. I don't know what the hell was going on, but finally it did it today.
I appreciate the effort you put in, Brian. I really do.
Yeah, it looked really good, the part that I saw. I'll watch the rest of it tonight at work.
You were great. Definitely. You were great, Joshua. You were one of my favorite shows. Like, I really loved your enthusiasm. I loved, everything resonated as 100% true to me.
I appreciate it,
yourself, brother, because you're being reached out to.
I really appreciate it. I started off a little bit scrambled, and I want to thank Chad first, because not even an hour before I got on your podcast, I was on another podcast, and these guys were so scientific, nuts and bolts. They wanted like proof for everything. They were analyzing my orb videos, and Chad got in there. Chad got in the chat. And, he was backing me up. He was like, Josh is the real deal. So it's like I immediately went from that, to your channel, to where it's like, one, I felt like I was having to give all this evidence, to where your channel, I know you already believe this stuff. So, it's like a transition from one to the other. But yeah, I had a great time on your channel, Brian. I really did. And I'm really glad you got to be on here today.
We loved having you, man. We'll have you back on again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thanks for spending the time with us,
couldn't
Brian.
make it on, but when you come on again, maybe we can get Sonny organized too, or something will be working better, or whatever.
I think I got it figured out. I downloaded Chrome. So if I go on under Chrome Internet instead of the other one, I think that's how I can open Zoom.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, that's good.
Awesome. I had a great time talking to you guys. My sister is pulling up in the yard right now. I'm sorry to jump off so quick.
All right, buddy. We'll see you, Josh. Yeah. I'm right behind you. All right. Thanks, Brian. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, and Joshua, he's a great young guy, man. I really did enjoy having him on the show.
Yep, he's cool to have around. He's been one of my my best, newest friends that I've had. So we share a lot of experience, a lot of communication back and forth all the time.
Me too. I don't even know him that well. How he feels that way.
Yep. That's how this whole community is. You feel like you've known everybody forever.
Yeah. So, I missed that show with Josh where he was having to prove stuff, but that poor Josh, I'll tell you right now, he's not coming on sharing this stuff to prove it. He's sharing it just to share it. Like this.
Yeah, he's got to get it off his chest.
Yeah. Make sure I'm not crazy. You guys see this too, right?
Exactly.
Oh no, absolutely, man. I mean, I got a good bullshit detector, and plus I've experienced a lot of the stuff that he's experienced, so I know it's authentic.
He's a good guy.
Good guy.
Good guy, that Josh.
That's a good guy, that Josh.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna end
this guys. This was cool.
Thanks for having me on. It was kind of last minute, but I really enjoyed it, man. Thanks,
sometimes the last minute ones are the best.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And like I said, if anybody wants to connect with Sasquatch, it's in your intent, and it's in the heart. And if you want to leave them a little glyph that represents you, somewhere where you're connecting with them, just say, hey, this is me. If you want to change it around, play with me.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So you can also do that. But it's all about respect and intent and heart.
Okay. That's a good way to end it.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Peace out.
See you, buddy. We'll see you.
I'll see you later,
Thanks,
Chad.
everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks, everyone in chat.
Thank you.